The last cucumber. Satu took the big cucumber from his father's hand and carried it to Mother. "It's a nice one," he said as he watched her cut it. She wrapped half of it in a piece of cloth. Then she divided the other half between Sato and his little sister, Lita. Sato sat down by Mother and began to eat. He hadn't eaten anything yesterday or this morning, and now it was already afternoon. He was really hungry, so he ate fast. Lita sat and looked at her piece for quite a while. Then she began to suck and chew on it. Sato finished his. "Where is the rest of the cucumber?" he asked. "I have put it away," Mother told him. "I am saving it for tomorrow." "Will you and Daddy eat some?" Sato wanted to know. "No, Sato," she said as she drew him onto her lap. "Daddy and I are big people. We can get along without food better than you can." "Mama, will we ever have rice again?" Sato asked. Mother's face looked so thin and sad, it made him squirm a little. "You know, the flood spoiled all our rice," she said. "It spoiled the rice for all the other villages near us. I don't know when we will get rice again, but Daddy hunts for food every day." Lita went to sleep as soon as she finished her cucumber, and now Sato snuggled up to Mother and shut his eyes. When he awakened, he was on the mat beside Lita. "Oh, Mother," he said as he jumped up and ran to her. "There is rice in our bin. I saw Father dump in 3 bags." "No, Sato," Mother said. "You dreamed that you saw the rice. When people are hungry, they often dream about food." Then Sato began to cry. Sobs shook his thin little body, and even though Mother held him close, he trembled all over. Then he saw that Mother was crying too. Sato went and looked out the door. A few people moved about the village. They walked slowly and their hands were empty. They carried no baskets of eggs or vegetable, no bags of rice. The chickens had been killed and eaten long ago. Also the goats and even the dogs. Sato had seen inside the houses. No one had food, and some of the little children lay on their mats and slept all the time. They looked like spiders with their thin arms and legs and swollen stomachs. At sundown, Father came home again. "I couldn't find a thing," he said. "Hundreds of hens have combed every field. I was lucky this afternoon that cucumber was growing between 2 big logs, so no one had found it before." "Sato and Lita have eaten half of it," Mother said. "I will give them the rest tomorrow. What will we do then?" Father sighed. Finally he spoke again. "The flood was so big it covered all our garden land. It is perhaps 100 miles to a village where there is rice. We are too weak to walk that far." Then it was quiet in the room. Sato could hear Lita's quick breathing. Her stomach was beginning to swell. Sato felt something wild and scary come up in his throat. A dark and terrible thing was in his room, where he had always felt safe and happy. He began to cry, and although he wanted to cry hard, he could make only a small, low sound. Father gathered him into his arms and Sato slept. Then all at once it was morning. Mother divided the half of the cucumber between the children. Lita held hers and looked at it, but Sato ate his in a hurry. He looked at his empty hand and licked the cucumber juice from his fingers. It was noon of that day when a messenger ran into the village. Sato knew he came from far away. Because he ran so fast and his voice was strong, he had plenty to eat. "Come out," he said. "Come out! We are bringing food." Hear what the man says? Father got slowly to his feet and went outside. Mother and Sato followed. Sato saw donkeys with big packs on their backs. Men were unloading food from the bags and packages they carried. There were rice and beans and barley and salt and oil in bottles. "First of all," one of the men said, "we will give you enough rice to make gruel for everyone in your house. Make it thin and eat slowly or you might get sick." One of the men put 3 cups of rice in a piece of paper and gave it to Mother. She hurried to make a fire and cook it into a thin soup. Father sat on the mat and fed Lita. When they had all eaten and their stomachs were full of soup, Mother asked Father, "Where did the food come from?" "There are some people over in a nation called America. Those people heard about the floods and the hunger in our village." "But why would they send food so far?" "They worship the God who made all things. These people are a loving, pitying people. Their God is like that, they say. He is a loving, pitying God. So they took from their own supplies and sent the money to buy the food for us. There is enough to keep us alive until the next harvest," Father told her. Sato felt warm and happy and drowsy, but a thought kept running through his mind. "I would like to worship that God, that pitying, loving God." Then he lay down beside Lita and went to sleep.